Today I'm going to show you how to do a jalapeno cheddar inclusion loaf with your bread that's already been rising. If you have a sourdough recipe that you enjoy, you can use that. I actually have had 2 sets of dough rising for the last 15 hours, and so this is what they look like. Show you up close. You can see they're nice and bubbly. Lots of air bubbles. That's a good thing. That's what we want. I use these Banneton baskets for my final rise. I like to get the dough out of the bowl, put the inclusion items in it, whether it's cheese, jalapenos, seasoning, whatever it is. Stick it in this Banneton, stick it in the fridge for a couple hours just to do that nice final rise. You can leave it on the counter and you can do it for like 30 minutes to an hour. I used to not do any proofing in the fridge. Along with using the fridge, I just prefer to leave it on the counter. But if I am in a pinch with time and I can't bake my loaf right away, which is today, I'm going to stick it in here and it just kind of slows everything down. I'm actually really excited. I got black gloves and the aesthetic on these is just so much nicer than the blue ones I was using. I just go in with something like this. It's nothing special, but it just kind of helps get the dough off the sides of the bowl without breaking a lot of the air bubbles. The edges. The bowl. So it's a little sticky. That's okay. So that way it's not so sticky. So you can see this is what the dough looks like. It's a little bit sticky, but it's not bad. And I just kind of go around to make it, I don't know, spread out, to stretch it out without popping too many of the bubbles. Now, I have done plenty of loaves where I will like flatten it out, add it, because it's going to do another rise, so it's gonna add more bubbles to it. Anyways, so I get it all flattened out like this. I'm actually gonna do this side. And this is what it looks like before I add my cheese and jalapenos. Chopped jalapenos, I love these. I feel like they go in the bread a lot easier. You can do full-size jalapenos or you can do the chopped ones, but I like the chopped, and I just simply go in and just like spread them out on the dough. I have used whole jalapenos before and I like that as well. I just like these. You can buy store-bought, you can use your own from your garden. I know it's that time of year where a lot of the gardens are starting to die off and there's not as much produce that comes from them. Ours is one of them. Then I have, and that's about 2.5 tablespoons of chopped jalapenos. And then I go in with just shredded cheese. This is a mild cheddar. You can use any type of cheese that you want. Sometimes I've used Colby Jack. The other one that I like is like a triple cheddar. It's 3 different kinds of cheddar. And I always leave a little bit of each because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that. So now that I have this on here, these leaves are falling. I just fold one side over and then fold the other side over. And now that it's folded twice, I'm going to add a little bit more cheese and the rest of the jalapenos. Put them in here. There's only a few left. Get a little bit of that juice too, so it soaks in the bread, because it will bake off of it. And then I fold this way, and then I grab this piece in front and fold over. So now I kind of have this rounded roll, and now I'm going to start adding tension. So I'm going to pull it towards me, go a little bit more, turn it to the side. It is sticking to my hands a little bit, so I'm gonna use a little bit more flour just on top of it, just to kind of keep it from sticking. You don't wanna pull too hard because you don't want the ingredients to fall out. Occasionally what I'll do is I'll tuck under as I'm pulling, just to create a nice, soft, smooth boule, I believe is the term. I'm one of those people that makes sourdough the simple way and also doesn't use a lot of the language. I like to just say, hey, we're gonna make it into a ball. We're gonna make it into a dough ball. So that's kind of what you want it to look like. It's definitely bouncy. But now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to put it in my proofing basket. At this point, sometimes it will look like this, where some of the dough has not completely come together because of the flour. that's just where I will go in and I will pinch the dough together, just so it all stays in there. You can add a little bit of water here if you need to. So, and I already have a big air bubble right there, which is good. You want it to bubble up. That means that it's good, healthy dough. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And I'm going to cover it and stick it in the fridge for another couple hours before I can bake it. Okay, so I just got the bread out of the fridge. It's been in there for a few hours. As you can see, it has risen just a little bit more. That final rise just gets a little bit puffier. Put my Dutch oven in the oven at 450 for at least 30 minutes. I like to do it 30 minutes to an hour just to get it nice and hot. I'm gonna do a quick 5-minute score. I'll show you how I do that. For anybody wondering, this is the Dutch oven that I use. It's a Le Creuset. It's my favorite. It was a gift of mine. I've used another Dutch oven, but I have since switched to this one and I love it. It's what I use for every piece of parchment paper. I'm gonna put it on top, flip it over, and there you have it. Add some flour to this before I do my design. Some people use rice flour. I just like to use all-purpose flour. It's fine. Just make sure it's all over it, and then I'm gonna do a design. In about 30 minutes, I'm going to put this in my Dutch oven and bake it for 5 minutes. Once the 5 minutes is up, then I'm going to do a deep score. It just kind of holds the design a little bit better and also helps with the expansion of the loaf as it's baking. Score really quick. As you can see, I'm just gonna go like this and do a nice deeper score. And put it back in for 20 minutes. Baking for 25 minutes total with the lid on. And now I'm going to lower my temperature to 400 and bake for 20 minutes with the lid off. Every once in a while, I'll check in to make sure that it's not burning. Everybody's oven is different, so that's something you want to make sure you pay attention to, but this is what it looks like mid-bake. And I'm going to put it in at 400 for 20 more minutes. You're making a loaf like this, sometimes you can leave it in a little bit longer. It depends on how crunchy you want the crust. This is actually for somebody and they prefer it a little bit softer. This is just how I include ingredients in that final rise and bake. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, follow along, and as always, ask questions if there's anything I can help you do to help you further along in your sourdough journey.